everyone, this is 8-Bit Flashback, and I got a special package that just showed up. So let's open this up and check it out. So I've been trying to find one of these since 2016. I did see one in the store, like right before Christmas at Best Buy, and I didn't get it. I was kicking myself in the ass. The Nintendo Classic Edition. It's August 2017. It took me a long time, but I finally got it. Well, kind of. This is actually a replica, but they did a really good job with this one. In fact, so good that on eBay, they're selling these like they're the real thing, and a lot of customers don't even know. And I ended up buying a couple of these consoles because I plan on doing a lot of modding with them. I'm going to be installing Raspberry Pis inside of them, and multiple other mods. I'm not really sure why, but for some reason, I think I'm more interested in replicas and fakes than the real thing. And for me, I find this replica super cool. The level of detail they put in this box and how real it looks is just super interesting to me. And I'm sure most of you are aware of how much the official Nintendos are going for on eBay. Upwards of $200. That's ridiculous. I got 5 of these replicas for less than that. But you gotta be careful. There's some sellers out there that are selling these replicas like they're the official Nintendo and selling them for way too much money. You gotta do some research and make sure you get them at a good price. So they had these for sale on AliExpress for about a week. Then they got removed. I'm sure Nintendo had something to do with that. Now if you search Nintendo on AliExpress, nothing pops up. But I was able to find some replicas at Alibaba.com, which is AliExpress's parent site. So most of the sellers on Alibaba are located in China. And some of the sellers there are kind of shady. Let me read you one of the messages I received when I was inquiring about one of these replicas. So the ad title was Buy Authentic 100% Nintendo NES Classic Edition. But there's no price listed. So to get a price, you have to send a message to the seller and ask how much the product is and how much the shipping is. So this is what the seller replied with. Thanks for your prompt reply. For faster communication, kindly reply back to our email below. Now that's a red flag right there. You should continue your messaging on Alibaba, not to their private email. Yes, we have brand new, genuine, authentic Nintendo Entertainment System NES Classic Edition Mini Console 30 Game System Console. Tax-free, original retail packaging, in stock now, complete accessories. Kinda sounds too good to be true, right? That's because it is. Packaging, factory sealed, and original retail pack. Comes with 5 years international warranty directly from the manufacturer. So Nintendo is going to warranty these replicas. I wonder how that's going to go. Shipping and delivery to your door is included with the prices offered. What else we got here? Brand new authentic entertainment system NES Classic Edition Mini Console 30 Games System Console cost $25 per unit. Altogether inclusive shipping and delivery to your doorstep. Well, that's a giant red flag. Obviously, no one in their right mind is going to sell the official Nintendo Classic Edition for $25. I mean, retail was $60 when it came out, so no one in their right mind would sell it for $25. So we know that these are absolutely fake, and this guy is trying to pass them off as real. And this ad did get taken down. If you try to click on it, this is what it shows. And it should have been, because this guy's ad was a joke. Although $25 is still a very good price for a replica, I didn't trust this guy because he was asking me to email his private email to continue the conversation. So that was a huge red flag, and I decided not to deal with him. Here's the actual product I ended up buying, and they were very helpful. They answered any questions I had, and they weren't trying to pass the console off like it was 100% real. They stated it was a clone, and I already knew it was, but it was nice to hear it from them. But here's the kicker. For this product, there's a minimum order of 25 units. That means you gotta buy 25 of these consoles to make a transaction. But I was lucky enough to talk them down to 5 consoles, which is how many I wanted. So after it was all said and done, I was able to get each console for right around $37 shipped right to my door. Okay, I know, enough boring stuff. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at this replica. So they did a pretty good job on the box. They scanned all sides of the box and it's got pretty good color on it. The average consumer would never know that this is a fake. They even went as far as to put a serial number on the box. But, check this out. We got the serial number there in the left bottom corner. Let's grab another box here. And look at the serial numbers. Exactly the same. So just imagine if this is a real serial number that exists on an actual console, we're going to have some huge problems because there's going to be thousands of people probably calling with the same serial number complaining about their console not working right. All the packaging seems pretty legit. Let's go and pull a Nintendo out and have a closer look now. As far as the case goes, they've done a great job. It's very hard to tell that this is a fake. It even has the Nintendo logo like it's supposed to be. It's got the power and reset buttons just like they're supposed to be. Even the controller ports look the same. On the back here, we got your power input, and then you got your HDMI out, just like the original console. So the average consumer would not be able to tell. I can tell because I've done some research and I know what to look for. Here's a look at the bogus serial number that's actually on all these boxes. And the funny thing is there's a lot of people that are against replicas that are from China, etc., that the original console was made in China. So probably some of the same exact parts were used to make this replica is the original. So it's pretty hard to tell the difference just by looking at the case. One of the easiest ways to tell the difference is when you power it up and start running the software, then you can start seeing the differences pretty easy. Okay, let's see what else we got inside the box. Got a controller here. And they did a pretty good job with this controller too. I mean, how are you supposed to know? Without testing this and doing some research, you would never know. So I did test this on the Wii, and it did not work. And I also tried testing a Wii Classic controller on this replica, and it didn't work either. So there's one way to tell right there. Okay, what else we got in here? We got our power plug. This is a USB power port. Looks like it's 2 amps. An HDMI cable. And they even went through the effort to put a Nintendo logo on each end of the HDMI cable. The USB power cable, micro on one end, standard on the other. Some Nintendo reward points. I'm sure these are still valid. Some quick setup instructions. And a poster. So it gives instructions in 3 different languages here for just a quick startup guide. And then on the back, we got a pretty cool poster. It's cool except for the fact that it's advertising stuff that you don't get. You don't get a light gun, you don't get Rob the Robot, so it's kind of a tease. Here's a look at the warranty papers. I'm sure it'd go over real well when you call in and give them the serial number trying to get some warranty on this product. Nintendo would probably be really glad to help you. So here's a look at another Nintendo clone I have. This one's pretty cool, but it's not near as intricate as this new replica. With this clone, they really weren't trying to pass it off as being real. The box art is off, the controller ports are different, the logos are different, but it's still pretty neat. But this new replica, they were really trying to make this one look like the original. As far as the shape of the cases go, they're very close. The main difference I noticed is that if you look at it from the side right here, you can see that the new replica has a little bit of an angle at the top, and the older replica does not. So I will be modding these consoles, and one of the mods I'm going to be doing is making this lid open and function so it can load Nintendo cartridges inside of it with a Raspberry Pi inside there also. And for some of the consoles, I'm going to try to mod the software that's inside of it and add some more games, and also add an AV output and a few other things. So let's go ahead and power this up and test it out. One thing you're going to notice right off the bat is that the LED light is white instead of red. It should be red. So for the menu, it is very similar, but there is some differences. For one, the pictures aren't high res. 2, there should actually be mini pictures just below the big pictures that show all 30 games. And 3, there should be more menu items at the top. And I'm sure there's some more differences, but let's go ahead and load a game and check the gameplay out. Here's the original Mario Brothers. This was released before the original Nintendo even came out. This was actually even on the Atari 2600. So the controller doesn't feel like $1,000,000, but it feels decent. The button response feels pretty good. The only issue I see is that the D-pad feels kind of sloppy. So let's try another game. Let's put this D-pad to the test and see how good it works. Let's try Super Mario Bros. 3 1-Up Trick. So to switch games, you can push reset and that'll take you back to the main menu so you can select a game, but it doesn't have the save game feature. So that's another main difference between this and the real console. So this is Mario Bros. 3 World 1 Round 2, and I'm going to do the 1-Up Trick here. And to do this trick, you got to be pretty precise with the controller. So if I can do the 1-Up Trick with this controller, then this controller is good enough for me. So this is right towards the beginning of the round, right where the T-pipe is. And what the trick is you want to let as many guys as you can get on the screen before you start jumping on them. I let usually about 5 guys get on the screen, and then I start jumping on each one of them, flying up, and then taking my time coming down. And as soon as you get to 8,000, you start getting 1-ups. So let's see how many 1-ups I can get here. If you can get 10 and 1-ups in a row, that's pretty good. Still going. Still going. So this is my first attempt, and it's going pretty well. So the longer you go, they get farther apart, and it gets harder and harder to keep it going. So they're starting to get pretty far apart. Am I going to get any more? No, that's it. So I got 27, that's 23 1-ups total. so I'm not going to complain about this controller. It's good enough for me. So most of the games work pretty good, but one game I noticed an issue with was Super Mario Bros. And for some reason this game seems to be stuck in fast forward. It's still playable, but it's definitely a learning curve on how to play this going so fast. Another thing I noticed is that most of the games seem to be Japanese based, so they have a lot of Japanese English, so there's some menus you can't read. At the main menu you can actually change the language, but that's only for the main menu language, not the games. Okay, let's take a closer look at the main menu. Let's go to this icon at the top, and here you can select the language, but like I said, this is only for the main menu. So you can see it's a different language now, so I'm just going to go back and change it to English. And if we go over to the next icon here, this gives you an IP notice, and none of this stuff matters because this is a knockoff console anyway. Okay, it's time to take a look inside of it. It's pretty easy to get in there. You just got 4 rubber feet to remove, and then there's some Phillips screws inside each hole. After removing those screws, it should come apart real easy just like this. So on the top of the case, there's really nothing going on. So here's the bottom, and we got a little something going on here. We got 3 different circuit boards. There's a look at your power switches and reset switch. And I'm going to try to show you multiple angles here so you can see everything. Here's a look at the controller ports. Obviously how this is put together is probably not standard issue for Nintendo. So from what I can gather, the circuit board on the right is an AB to HDMI converter. That's all that circuit board does. The circuit board on the left seems to be the main computer for this replica. So I'll be doing a couple tests to find out if this computer chip is programmable or not, so it might take some time to figure it out. So there is a hack that's available for the official Nintendo Classic, but it does not work with this replica. The components that are inside this are much different than the original Nintendo. So this replica is not perfect. It does have some bugs. There's a couple times when I pushed reset, I got a black screen, and I had to power the whole thing off, unplug it, and then it started back up fine. So here's my overall thoughts. If you're looking for a good quality console, then this probably is not for you. But if you're looking for something that you're going to mod anyway, then this case is perfect. It looks just like the original Nintendo. Or if you're looking to buy one just to bring back some good memories, and you don't even plan on playing it that much, then this one might be right for you also. The box looks great, the console looks great, and it's playable. The case is pretty close to the quality of the original, but the software and hardware is quite a bit different. So if I was to rate this software versus the original Nintendo Classic, I'd probably give it about a 3 out of 10. Well, thanks for watching. This is 8-Bit Flashback. If you want to hear more from me, please like and subscribe. If you want to see more of my videos, just click any of these links.